yesterday with parallelograms, what was our formula for a parallelogram? Base times height. Very good. So a triangle is half of a rectangle, half of a parallelogram, half of a square. So today we're adding one more step. So our formula is area equals base times height divided by 2. That's the only difference, is now you are taking your area and dividing it by 2 because you want half of what you would typically have, okay? One thing I want to make sure we are clear on from yesterday, if this is my base of any shape, okay, any shape, it doesn't matter what shape it is, my height will always be perpendicular to the base. If you actually look at it, it looks like it makes an H. Okay? So your height will always be perpendicular to your base. So yesterday when you had a couple of those parallelograms that it gave you a measurement for the slanted line, you don't ever use that one. You use whatever's perpendicular to the base. Okay? So let's try a couple. And we're going to have to be careful and make sure we squeeze these in well. Again, first thing you should write on everything is what?
Your name.
No, well, of course, after your name. What do we call them?
Formula.
Formula. The first thing is always going to be your formula. Area equals base times height divided by 2. I don't think any of you are going to have trouble remembering yesterday's formula because you wrote it so many times last night. So the same thing with this. Once you write triangle over and over and over, you're going to know base times height divided by 2. So which of these lines would you think would be the easiest to use as our base? The bottom. When I have a grid like this, I want to find the line that's easiest to count. And that's the one I want to use as my base. It's hard to count those squares like that, right? So here's what I want to use for my base. So what measurement would we have for our base?
7.
Is that 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes. Okay? And then remember, my height is always going to be perpendicular, and it goes to the top of the triangle. So this would be my height right here. It would be, is that 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, 4. So when we plug these numbers in, area equals 7 times 4 divided by 2. So yesterday we had 3 lines for every problem. We've now added one more step, so now you're going to have 4 lines. First thing I'm going to do is multiply. What is 7 times 4? 28. Then we're going to divide. So what's 28 divided by 2? 14. We don't have a label, so we call that units squared. I want you to show me both steps, guys. Show me where you multiply and then show me where you divide. And here is the reason why I don't want you doing them all in one step. The most common mistake with area of triangles is not dividing by 2. So if you show that in both steps, you're more likely to do both steps, okay? We're going to get to composite figures next week, which is where we're taking like a whole bunch of different shapes, finding the area, and then adding them together. So we want to make sure that we are following all the steps on each shape. This is the number one problem I see with triangles, is just we forget to divide by 2, okay? All right, let's look at number 2. Again, first thing I write is my formula. Area equals base times height divided by 2. Which one do you think would be the easiest to use as the base?
The side.
Yeah, left side. Right here. Okay? That's okay. So what is the measurement of that side? 5. Okay? And then my height, again, has to go to the top of the triangle, and it's perpendicular to the base. Is it 7? Okay. So then we plug that in. Area equals 5 times 7 divided by 2. What is 5 times 7?
35.
35 divided by 2, which would equal, anybody? 17 and a half. We'll go ahead and put 17.5, and that is units squared. If you wrote 17 and a half, that would be perfectly fine as well. These are not bad, right? It's just one more step than what we did yesterday. All right. Now, the cool thing about a right triangle, what do we know defines a right triangle? Like what, by definition, makes it a right triangle?
Triangle.
It has a right angle, okay? So when we have a right angle like this, sorry, you have two sides that we could use interchangeably as base or height. If I turn my triangle this way, here's my base, here's my height. If I turn it this way, here's my base, here's my height. So it really doesn't matter which one you use because we already know this is perpendicular. These two lines are perpendicular. And that, by definition, is our base and our height. They're always perpendicular with each other. So either of those will work, okay?
So it's 12.
So here we go. Yeah, it's 12 and 10. Area equals base times height divided by 2. So we're going to plug in area equals, what do you say, 12 times 10 divided by 2. What is 12 times 10? 120. And that's divided by 2. So our area is 60 millimeters squared. Okay?
Miss Lewis,
Mm-hmm.
are we gonna be able to work somehow on our test on Friday? Or will it
No, your quiz Friday is just the formulas. Now we're going to do an activity in class where you're going to have basically a couple of each type, but that's going to be one of those things that I'm going to make sure we're doing it till we get it correct. Kind of like a checkpoint, yeah. But your only quiz grade Friday is just the 4 formulas. That's it. That's what I told you, super easy. Okay? All right. Y'all got your calculators handy?
Yes.
Let's do some fractions. Here we go. Area equals base times height divided by 2. What's my base on this triangle? 19 and 1/4 times, what's my height? 9 and 1/2, all of that divided by 2. Now, even if you think you're pretty confident on this, I want us to all do this one together. Okay? Remember, for those of you that didn't have your calculator yesterday, that A, B/C, that is your fraction button. So you're going to put it in as 19 fraction button, 1 fraction button 4 times 9 fraction button 1 fraction button 2. Sorry, I'll slow down. And then hit enter. You just want to make sure you're putting that fraction button in between your mixed number and your fraction. This little U right here, that's a space. So your answer for right now, we're not done, remember, is 182 and 7/8. Okay? Now, watch what happens. I have not cleared my calculator, but the last thing I hit was enter or equal. So it gave me the answer to that problem. I'm not clearing my calculator. I'm going to come over here because I know I'm not done at this point. I still got to divide by 2. So I'm going to hit divide. And what this means is it's taking whatever answer I just got, A and S stands for answer, divided by 2, hit enter again, and now you have your answer. So that would be 91 7/16. And that is yards squared. Yeah. Now I want to show you a couple of other things real quick. If you're ever using your calculator and you're getting some crazy answers and you literally put 5 plus 5 in and it gives you some crazy answer, okay, flip over to the back of your calculator real quick. You see this little button right here? It says reset. Take your cover off. You got to take your cover off. Okay? If you take your pencil or your pen and you press that button, flip it back over, it has cleared the memory. What that did was that just reset your calculator, and you should be good to go. Okay? So if you're ever getting something crazy, that's the first thing I would try. That's kind of like restarting your computer. It's resetting your calculator. Do what? Huh? No. Alright, let me show you one other cool thing. Let's say, I'll tell you what, I'll show you on this one. Let's go ahead and set this problem up. I want to show you another thing on your calculator. Area equals base times height divided by 2. What is my base on this triangle?
23.7.
Yes. 23.7 times 4.9 divided by 2. Now, watch what happens. Okay? I'm putting in my number 23.7 times 4.9, and I just realized, what did I do?
You forgot to put the times in between the two.
Now I put my times. I
I
forgot my decimal. I don't want to clear it out. Look what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my arrow buttons. I'm going to go back to right here. I'm going to put 0.7 times 4.9. You can go and write over what's already in there.
Wait, I can't do it. Wait, how'd you do that?
That's why I said there's 10 back there you can sign out. But you can only use it during class. Equals, okay? And so right now I've got 116.13 divided by 2. Am I done?
No.
Gotta do divided by 2. So my answer will be, it's at 58.065, and that is meters squared. Okay. Any questions so far? Again, triangles, all we're doing is adding one more step to what we did yesterday. All right, let's look at number 7. Oh, you good? How many of you loved algebra? You're about to get some more algebra. Here we go. Hey, quit whining. All right, first thing we are going to write, guys listen, is our formula. Area equals base times height divided by 2. We all saw yesterday this was like an algebraic equation. I've got a whole bunch of variables. Okay? I'm going to plug in what I know because I'm trying to find the missing side. So yesterday was pretty easy. We just did the opposite and we divided, right? Well, yesterday we only had one step to solve our problems. Now we have 2 steps. So what we're going to do, well, let's plug this in and then I'll show you. I know my area is 285. So I put 285 for area. And that is equal to, do I know what my base is? No, but I know my height is 15. So I'm going to do 15 times the base divided by 2. I have now written a 2-step equation. This means, like we had 1 step to undo equations, it's now going to take us 2 steps. It's not hard, it's just 2 steps. Okay? The first thing I have is division over here. How do I undo division? Okay, so I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. This cancels out, and that leaves 15b over here. And what is 285 times 2? Gives us 570. Okay, at this point I'm still not done. What kind of equation do I have now? Right, multiplication. How do I undo multiplication? Division. So I'm going to divide both sides by 15. This cancels out. So I have b left over. And I'm going to do 570 divided by 15. And that gives me 38 feet. That is my missing measurement. So yesterday, all we had to do was divide to undo it, because all we were doing was multiplying. Today, we're having to multiply and divide, because we are multiplying and dividing in our equation.
Do we have a test on this soon?
No. And what I want to do, this is a tough problem. I want you to go ahead and mark out 8 and 9. If you feel adventurous and want to go try, that'd be awesome. I'll check it for you. You should be adventurous. Now, guys, towards the end of the year, we're going to be doing some 2-step equations. That is how you undo algebraic equations. That's why it's so important Remember when I was telling you have to show every step? This is why. Because when you get to multiple step equations, you got to know what you're doing each time. All right, looking at number 10. Tamika is in charge of designing a school pennant for Spirit Week. She wants the base to be 3.5 feet and the height to be 6.5. She has 20 square feet of paper available. Does she have enough paper? Well, the first thing we've got to do is figure out how much it's going to take. So area equals base times height divided by 2. What is my base?
3.5.
3.5 times 6.5 divided by 2. Okay, so we can, again, okay guys, listen to me. So we've got 3.5 times 6.5. Alright, so far we have 22, and 3/4, we'll move it up. And that's divided by 2. So I do divided by 2. We should get 11 and 3/8. And that is feet squared.
I got 11.75.
Okay. Now, here's the question. Because we're not done answering our question, are we?
Oh, we gotta say yes.
Does she have enough?
Yeah.
Yeah, because she has 20 square feet available, and she's only going to use 11 and 3/8. So if I were going to say this, I would say yes. And my reason would be because the area, is only 11 and 3/8 of a foot squared. And she's got 20 square feet, so she's got plenty of paper. All right. Now what we're going to do, because I want to make sure there are no questions about how I want homework set up. Get a blank sheet of paper. Yes. Go ahead and grab your textbook. Okay. I've got to do. Okay, back to me, guys. On your paper, let's go ahead. We're going to start some good New Year's habits. Name at the top of your paper. I want you to go ahead and write down what your homework is. It is page 532, 533. You are doing numbers 6 through 17. And this is for advanced, regular 6 through 15. Okay? So, for number 6, y'all can go ahead and grab your textbook real quick. You may. All right. So, here we go. When you set up every single problem, guys, this is what we want it looking like. What is the first thing we write? Formula. Area equals base times height divided by 2. Looking at number 6, of course it is a triangle. It's on a grid. Okay? Looking at that triangle, y'all go ahead and grab your textbook. 532. Which side would be the better one to use? The right side. I agree. So looking at that, on that right side, what is our base? 6. Okay, what is our height? and that is divided by 2. Remember, the dot means multiplication, so don't think I'm writing a decimal. So again, what is my next step? 6 times 8 is 48. I'm still got to divide by 2. So my answer would be what? 24. It's not labeled, so we call that units squared. Guys, this is what each problem in your homework should look like. Yep. Okay, let's look at number 7. Again, the first thing you write is area equals base times height divided by 2. It's another triangle on a grid, I believe, isn't it? Okay, which side would you use as your base? The top. How many spaces is it?
5.
Okay, what about the height?
3.
3, and that's divided by 2. So what is 5 times 3?
15.
Divided by 2, which would be what?
7.
You got it. 7.5, and that is units squared. Each problem, guys, that you do needs to be set up like this, okay? I just want to be very specific so you didn't have any questions. Do what? Uh-huh. All right, any questions about triangles? Yes, you can go. I've started the first 2 with you. Yeah, you've got the rest to go. All right, good deal.